What is a computer? A computer is an electronic device that manipulates information or data. It has the ability to store, retrieve, and process data. A computer also defines as a programmable electromechanical device that accepts instruction or program to direct the operations of the computers. It is the lifeblood of today's world. If they were to suddenly turn off all at once, the power grid would shut down, cars would crash, planes would fall, stock markets will freeze, and business will slow down. Can you imagine a life without computer? Before computers, let's go back. Abacus. It is the earliest recognized device for computing. It is a hand-operated calculator that helps to add and subtract numbers. It was invented in Mesopotamia around 2500 BCE. Computing is the process of using computer to complete a task. The generations of computer. The generation in computer terminology is defined as the changes in hardware and software technology of computers. Based on the characteristics of various computers developed from time to time, they are categorized into 5 generations. First generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation, and fifth generation. The first generation computers were invented from 1937 to 1946. The computers of this generation could only perform single tasks, and they had no operating system. The first computer systems used vacuum tubes for circuitry and magnetic drums for memory, and were often enormous, taking up entire rooms. The characteristics of the first generation computers were as follows. 1. Sizes of these computers were as large as the size of a room. 2. Possession of vacuum tubes to perform calculation. 3. They used an internally stored instruction called program. 4. Use capacitors to store binary data and information. 5. They use punch card for communication of input and output data and information. 6. They generated a lot of heat. 7. They have about 1,000 circuits per cubic foot. The vacuum tubes contained electrodes for controlling electron flow and were used in early computers as a switch or on and off or as an amplifier. The first generation computer are the following examples. Mark I, developed by Aiken in 1944. ENIAC, or the Electronic Numerical Integrator and Calculator, built at the Moore School for Engineering of the University of Pennsylvania in 1946 by J. Prespa Eckert and William Moakley. 3. Electronic Discrete Variable Automatic Computer, or EDVAC, also developed in 1947 by Eckert and Moakley. Second generation. These computers were made 1947 to year 1962. Second generation of computers used transistors instead of vacuum tubes, which were more reliable. During this generation of computers, over 100 computer programming languages were developed. Computers had a memory and operating systems. Storage media, such as tape and disk, were in use also for printers for output. The characteristics of second-generation computers are 1. The computers were still large, but smaller than the first generation of computers. 2. They used transistor in place of vacuum tubes to perform calculation. 3. They were produced at a reduced cost compared to the first generation of computers. 4. Possession of magnetic tapes as for data storage. 5. They were using punch cards as an input and output of data and information. The use of keyboard as an input device was also introduced. 6. These computers were still generating a lot of heat, in which an air conditioner is needed to maintain a cold temperature. 7. They have about 1,000 circuits per cubic foot. The second generation computers are the following examples. Leprechaun IBM, built by Bell Laboratories in 1947. Transys, produced by Philco, GE, and RCA. UNIVAC 1107 and UNIVAC 3. RCA 501. IBM 7030 Stretch. The third generation computers were built from 1963 to 1975. The invention of integrated circuit brought us the third generation of computers. With this invention, computers became smaller, more powerful, more reliable, and they are able to run many different programs at the same time. The characteristics of the third generation computers are: number one, they use large-scale integrated circuits, which were used for both data and processing storage. Number two, computers were miniaturized. That is, they were reduced in size compared to previous generation. 3. Keyboard and mouse were used for input, while the monitor was used as output device. 4. Use of programming language like COBOL and Fortran were developed. Number 5. They have 100,000 circuits per cubic foot. Third generation computers were as follows: Burroughs 6700 and mini computers, Honeywell 200, IBM System 360, and UNIVAC 9000 series. The fourth generation computers were developed from 1975 up to today or current. At this time of technological development, the size of computer was divided to what we call personal computers or PC. This was the time the first microprocessor was created by Intel. The microprocessor was a very large scale, that is, VLS integrated circuit which contained thousands of transistors. Transistors on one chip were capable of performing all the functions of a computer's central processing units. The characteristics of the fourth generation computers are: 1. Possession of microprocessor which performs all the tasks of a computer system used today. 2. The size of computers and cost was reduced. 3. Increase in speed of computers. 4. Very large scale or VLS integrated circuits were used. Number 5. They have millions of circuits per cubic foot. The microprocessor is a central processing unit on a single integrated circuit chip containing millions of very small components, including transistors, resistors, and diodes that work together. The fourth generation computer examples are IBM System 3090, IBM RISC 6000, IBM RT, ELIAC 4, Cray 2 XMP, HP 9000, and Apple computers. Fifth generation computers. These are computers from the present and beyond. Fifth generation's computing devices based on artificial intelligence or AI are still in development, although there are some applications such as voice recognition, facial face detector, and thumbprint that are used today. Artificial intelligence, in simple terms, is the ability of a computer program or a machine to think and learn. Characteristics of the fifth generation computers are as follows. 1. Consist of extremely large-scale integration. 2. Parallel processing. 3. Possession of high-speed logic and memory chip. 4. High-performance micro-miniaturization. 5. Ability of computers to mimic human intelligence. For example, is the voice. 6. Recognition, facial face detector, and thumbprint. 7. Satellite links and virtual reality. 8. They have billions of circuits per qubit. The fifth generation computer examples are as follows: supercomputers, robots, facial face detector, and thumbprint detector. Who invented computer? Please click the link and watch the video below. Let's continue. The types of computer. The types of computer. Historically, computers were classified according to processors types because development and processor and processing speeds were the developmental benchmarks. Earliest computers used vacuum tubes for processing, were huge, and broke down frequently. However, as vacuum tubes were replaced by transistors and then chips, their size decreased and processing speeds increased manifold. All modern computers and computing devices use microprocessors whose speeds and storage capacities are skyrocketing day by day. The developmental benchmark for computers is now their size. Computers are now classified on the basis of their use or size. These are the types of computers: desktop, laptop, tablet, server, mainframe, and supercomputer. Desktop. The desktop computers are personal computers or PCs designed for use by an individual at a fixed location. IBM was the first computer to introduce and popularize use of desktops. A desktop unit typically has a CPU, or what you call the central processing unit, monitor, keyboard, and mouse. Introduction of desktops popularized use of computers among common people as it was compact and affordable. Laptop. Despite its huge popularity, desktops gave way to a more compact and portable personal computer called laptop in 2000s. Laptops are also called notebook computers or simply notebooks. Laptop run using batteries and connect to networks using Wi-Fi or wireless fidelity chips. They also have chips for energy efficiency so that they can conserve power whenever possible and have a longer life. Modern laptops have enough processing power and storage capacity to be used for all office work, website designing, software development, and even audio and video editing. Tablets. After laptops, computers were further miniaturized to develop machines that have processing power of a desktop but are small enough to be held in one's palm. Tablets have the touch-sensitive screen of typically 5 to 10 inches, where one finger is used to touch icons and invoke applications. Keyboard is also displayed virtually whenever required and used with touch strokes. Applications that run on tablets are called apps. They use operating systems by Microsoft, Windows 8 and later versions, or Google for Android. Apple computers have developed their own tablet called iPad, which uses a proprietary OS called iOS. Server. Servers are computers with high processing speeds that provide one or more services to other systems on the network. They may or may not have screens attached to them. A group of computers or digital devices connected together to share resources is called a network. Servers have high processing powers and can handle multiple requests simultaneously. Most commonly found servers on networks include a file or storage server, game server, application server, database server, mail server, and print server. Mainframe computer. Mainframes are computers used by organizations like banks, airlines, and railways to handle millions and trillions of online transactions per second. Important features of mainframes are: they are big in size, 100 times faster than servers, typically 100 megabytes per second. Very expensive. Use proprietary OS provided by the manufacturers. Inbuilt hardware, software, and firmware security features. Supercomputer. Supercomputers are the fastest computers on Earth. They are used for carrying out complex, fast, and time-intensive calculations for scientific and engineering applications. Supercomputer speed or performance is measured in teraflops, that is, 1012 floating point operations per second. Most common uses of supercomputers include molecular mapping and research, weather forecasting, environmental research, oil and gas exploration. Do you want to know the most powerful supercomputer on Earth and what it is used for? Please read it here. Let's have a review game. Please join the quiz and have fun. If you're ready, please click this link. This is not a graded test. This is for review purposes only. Don't forget to change the name before starting the game. Follow the formats. You don't need to sign up. You can skip for now and just play the game. Enjoy! And I hope that you all learned today. Thank you.